Hello, and welcome to another terribly boring episode of JMX Labs Does Silly Soldering. So you might be asking, what in the world do I have on the workbench here? And well, the answer is the audio on this is terrible, and you can hear the cars going by and everything as I'm outside recording this on my wife's iPhone because she has a better camera than mine. And so I got the lightning jack, and I've got this little splitter thing, and I found in a bin a shotgun microphone that actually I used in high school. So I picked up an XLR to the 3.5 and some other things. The one thing I've noticed is Apple doesn't do the mic and ground in the same way as everyone else. So this little splitter, which has a microphone icon and a headphone icon. Headphones work; they work great, but the microphone doesn't. So, yeah, I'm gonna just try to fix that today and see if I can do it. I have no idea. This is the best one that I really felt like I could find, and kind of my hope is literally just that if I cut this in half, oh yeah, there's 3 very, very thin wires in there. So I don't know if I can strip that or not. Oh, that's actually, wow, okay, that actually worked better than I expected. I expected this to go horribly, horribly, horribly wrong, honestly. Okay, well, this might be doable. I'm just going to put these headphones over here and kind of wondered then what that is. The answer is I have no idea. So let's get meter out in continuity mode. Okay, so let's go there. I think this should be ground. No. Oh, these are all resin coated, or not resin coated. These are all like lacquer. Yeah, these are all in lacquer and plastic. So these are double insulated. That's a plastic. I can't. Yeah. So these are triple insulated if you count this out here. So let's just see if I can scrape some of that off without actually damaging the wires. I'm making a mess of it. Sometimes you can solder this off, so I may end up trying that. They've also got a plastic kind of core. Doing the blue one here just because I think it'll be easier to see if I manage to get to some copper. Oh, I think it's aluminum. Well, that'll be fun, or maybe it's tipped copper. I thought everything audio, everyone was into like pure copper, oxygen-free copper, or whatever. That said, these were $6, so I don't think these are going to be audiophile. Yeah, I don't think that's doing any good whatsoever. I'm going to get the soldering iron plugged in. And yeah, we'll see what we can do. Unfortunately, I was using the soldering iron as a stand, kind of a shelf a minute ago, so it's power. That's definitely plugged in. That was the sound of the smoke absorber. which is, so I've got this little smoke absorbing gadget on the top of my soldering iron. I actually really like it when I'm inside. It is, I think, pretty fantastic. But it's pretty noisy, so I'm probably not going to be using that. Let's see, some solder. There we go. Cool. So I'm just going to see if I can just tin these a little bit. Just see if that, oh yeah, that's burning off. I can't tell if the whole wire might not be coming apart though. I don't know. We'll see. Can't get any worse than it already is. And if this doesn't work, I do have another idea, because I went digging through the. Oh yeah, that wire's coming right off. Probably just getting too much heat on that. Do you have another idea? When digging through the junk drawer, and I found some old, really old Apple headphones with a microphone built in. I'm thinking, you know, that'll probably do the thing. But you know, this was the plan, so I'm gonna get started with this and just see what happens. It definitely did cut the microphone side, but I expected. Yeah, that's not it. Oh, I got continuity on that one. Okay, so I've definitely got something. Okay. So both of those come to that one, which seems odd. So I'm led to believe this should be mic ground here. Mic. Does that do any of these? No. Let's try this one down here. Nothing. Okay, so those two are just coming into that up there. Huh. Well, I could be misremembering, but that's not what I recall. So I'm going to look up a schematic real quick, and I'll be back. Okay, and I'm back. Searched the interwebs, found the exact same pictures I was looking at before, which are just the pinout differences, and found that I'm just utterly and completely wrong. So, for whatever reason, I don't have a good pointing device. I'm going to point with these. I thought that was ground. I don't know why I thought that was ground. No idea. I haven't worked with the audio in a very long time either. But actually, these two are mic and ground, and they are just backwards. So, it looks like all I actually have to do is make sure that is this one over here. I'm not getting those other ones. Yeah. Looks like I just need to take the copper colored and swap it with, on this side, the blue and red. So, yeah, let's get started on that. Wasn't expecting any of this to go as easily as it has, so I don't have the heat shrink out or anything, so we're gonna see how this goes as it goes. This is definitely not gonna be like a, you know, this is how you should do. Well, there's very little on this channel, probably, I will be really honest right now, that will ever be, this is how you should do something correctly, because, I don't know. That's not really what I'm going for. I'm just having some fun. Let's get those stripped out. And yeah, I'm going to get some heat shrink. And this looks like it might be simple. We'll see how it works. Okay, I'm back. I've got a couple of pieces of heat shrink. Go ahead and cut this one. Yeah, about right there. That's going to be good. So I'm going to load the bigger one on here. That's going to be nice and easy. Just going to twist. You know, I'm not going to do a fantastic job of this. I'm sorry. We're just going to kind of twist stuff together and, you know, kind of see how it works. Really wish I could do that differently. I wonder. Okay, so this is kind of a cheating way of doing this, but the reality is I actually, to fully separate these, oh wow, I have utterly broken that fingernail. But, you know, the show must go on, so that's not working. There we go. That'll work for now. So one thing you can do with these, since I only need one layer of separation, if I pass this all the way through, you know, I just said I wasn't going to actually teach anybody how to do anything correctly, and here I am giving some advice. That's not going to fit. So let's grab a bigger one. So I'm going to slide that down there, and what I will do, is that too long? That's too long. As soon as I stop faffing about here, I will demonstrate what I'm actually going to do. Cool, that will work. Just needed that to clear, so it was down here. It's just better that way. Those really do not want to twist together, and that's all right. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and tin those just a little bit before I get started. Ooh. Oh wow, that smells really foul. Really, really, really foul. Whatever they have that coated in is not super pleasant. Some of that's this plastic in the inside as well. I don't see a lot of smoke coming off of it beyond just the flux core. Oh, you can see it right there though. Look at all that plastic. Yeah, that's why it stinks. Okay, so one thing I like to check is make sure I can still move my heat shrink after, because I've had a couple experiences where, you know, just got too close. And it, yeah. This is one of those times where I really kind of wish I did have one of those helping hands devices, and I don't. Or, I mean, I may somewhere, but I don't know where it is. I don't know at all. You know what, this is not a perfect thing. We're just going to twist these together and then fold them back on themselves. That's fine. That's fine for today. That's toasty. Try to not have some ends sticking out as much. Yeah. Cool. Well, that's together. I'm just going to flow a little bit more fresh solder in there. You'll probably hear me say both solder and solder. I have a lot of British friends. Ooh, ow, that hurt. A lot of British friends, they say solder. You know, it's fine. You know, it's how it's spelled anyway. Go. That will do for that. And then here, so I'm going to clip that just a little bit. It's a little bit too long. There you go. Side's longer. That side. Yeah, that side's longer. So here's the secret trick, which is I can pull that over. I should be able to, there we go, pull that wire out. And there, I've got those separated right there. Let's get the hot air going. You know, I wish it was a little bit tighter, but, you know, it is what it is. So just the hot air off the rework station. Set it for about 200 C, and it will just bring that down nice and gentle. Cool, just like that. There we go. So sorry about it. It does make a lot of noise as it cools down as well. And yeah, let's just get those together. There we go. Solder is just malleable enough that it will twist together, which is nice. And just as you get it close, it will flow. Yeah, that does the thing. I'm not going for pretty here. I may do a slightly better one later. You know, if this works. I don't know that it will, but you know, if it works, I may give it another go. Try to make one that actually looks nice. It's you know, something I'm slightly proud of that I've made, or I may not. I don't know. We'll see. But there we go. In hindsight, probably should have checked that it was working before, you know, I sealed it all up, but I didn't. So, yeah, that's the way it is. Okay, so that's that. You know, it's not carrying much, and audio level is not as big a concern as far as anything else. So, yeah, I think I'll go try to find a battery for this and then plug it into something and see what we got. Well, you might notice it's been taken apart again, and that's because I went to go try it out, and it's like, huh, nothing works. In fact, it doesn't just not work. Oh, here come the police helicopters. They've been flying around for days now. We think it's probably just to keep people from congregating. And yeah, he'll move on. At any rate, nothing made sense. So there's some interesting things at play here. So we're coming from XLR, which you can see has 3 pins. And XLR is what's called a balanced connector. So it's actually going to give us a differential coming down. And you know, this connector, for whatever reason, is exposing all 3 pins right here, which is, yeah, is a little bit odd, unexpected. And we're going to come here and we're expecting it to be mic and then just ground here. So, okay, well that's interesting. So let's take a look. But basically, the way you do that is you just short one of the differential pairs to ground. So let's connect there on ground. We're in continuity mode. And well, let's see what connects to ground. So generally your bare copper is ground, and it is. And so you would expect that. And then you'd expect one of these to be shorted to ground. Okay, it's not the blue one. Oh, that's weird. It's not the red one either. Okay, fine. Let's come back here to the audio side, and we should have no ground connection. That's certain. So yeah, one of these should probably be floating, right? But okay, well that one's connected there, and that one's connected there too. So well, that's not good. So when you've got audio coming in, you're going to have one that is, a sine wave in this direction, and then you'll have an opposite sine wave on the differential. And that means at opposite peaks, you're as far away as you possibly can be. So you're going to get the best signal that you can down there. So, yeah, I kind of wish that wasn't a thing, but, it is. And so we're just going to actually just put this back together. What we're going to do, though, is we're just going to common up the blue and the red, and then we'll do the grounds together. And yeah, it is what it is. Let's get the soldering iron fired back up. Let's get some heat shrink out. Did I end up able to use? I didn't end up able to use the little one. So there we go. There's the other half of that piece. Ooh, it's windy. And there we go. So that should do all the things. See if I can get this back on this time. Nice, that worked. I always like when stuff actually does what I expect it to do. I ended up with this side really, really short. What is going to be the best height? I think I want this on this side, even though it's really short. I'm just going to peel that back. It's just going to be easier to do that with that back. Slide that heat shrink on. Is it long enough? Is it long enough? Can I get that piece? I guess it doesn't matter if I get that piece out right now, does it? Because this is going to be the little one, so that's fine. That was intended. Just forgot it was intended. I think I even said it right before I put it on. And then really forgot about it because, yeah, I spent a fair bit of time doing this, unfortunately. So come on, twist together. Awesome. I am actually going to try to do a decent job soldering these this time, which means not a twisted connection, but a straight through. So let's just flow a little bit more solder in there. Nice. Okay. Flow those two together. So when I do it this way, I only actually have to reheat the solder, which makes it a little bit easier. Slide that on, shrink it down real quick. Awesome, that's looking good. Okay. These are pretty long, but I think we can do that. Just get the soldering tip a little bit clean. It's accumulating all of that plastic. See how long, especially when, I don't know if this is true of everybody, but for me, certainly when I'm just getting back into soldering, I find that my tips do not last anymore. more solder on there. They don't last anywhere near as long as they do later on. I just end up burning through tips. So right before I started this, I did order 4 more tips because that seemed like about the right amount. And yeah, we'll see how well that lasts. Hoping that lasts. Got an Aoyui Chinese soldering station. It's a full rework station. Ooh, that's not long enough. Huh. Well, that's unfortunate. I don't really want to do that. What do I want to do? Well, we're going to just put this in the middle, and it's just going to be the way it is. You know, it's going to be decorative. Very, very decorative. Anyway, yeah, the soldering station I have is a rework station. So it's got the hot air. It doesn't seem very hot. No, that's where I said it before. I don't know. It has cooled down a little bit outside. I mean, the temperature hasn't really gone down, but I mean, the sun has kind of gone away. So I'm actually wearing a sweatshirt outside now, which seems a little bit weird to me. Maybe get a little bit more air coming through here. Flip it over, go to the other side. Okay, so let's see. My thought process, I don't know if this is good because, you know, I'm just kind of going at this. I'm going to fit that over now. This is going to be the smallest size that I can fit over that. Huh, I don't know how I'm going to get this over. And there goes some Southwest planes. Certain times a day, you get the planes right overhead here, which is, yeah, it's great. I like it a lot. I mean, actually, I do. I'm a pilot, so it is kind of fun. Come on. Let me try to push it in from this side. Will that work? But there we go. That's working. Huh. Well, you know, this seemed like a great idea. Oh, that's making it worse. I'm going the wrong way. It seemed like a great idea when I first got started. What do I have that would be better? Oh, actually, this looks about the right size. Speaking of new soldering iron tips, look what I have. So they're, that looks slightly bad. I hope that still works. They're cartridge style, so they've actually got the heater built in, which, I don't know, it's not the greatest thing in the world, I'll be honest, but actually I gotta put that right up over the strainer lathe. I just want to try to cover this up. So yeah, so they've got hot air. I've got a nice solder sucking thing, and I think it's a 75 watt soldering iron. It keeps a really nice temperature. The tips are a little bit expensive, you know, compared to like the Hacko knockoffs, but you know, it is what it is. Had it for quite a while now. I mean, at least 10 years or more. Ah, there goes the helicopter in a hurry that way. Okay, so that's looking pretty good there. Cool. Now, that's how much I've chopped off. It's gotten quite a bit shorter. That actually feels like it really came in on the previous heat shrink. Okay, so let's take a look at this on a different pro tip there. So this should be ground. I want that to be common between a couple of other pins up here. It's specifically 1 and 3, and 3 is this one down in the middle. Okay, so it's not that, it is to 1. Okay, so this up here should be the microphone, and it's currently common between 2 and 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to join 1 and 3 together and just leave that microphone going to 2. I found something interesting as I was playing around here. I ended up doing a lot of time. This started to get loose, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm just going to unscrew that. And this is a solderable connection right in here. This isn't one of those ones that, you know, were put together and crimped in and everything. So this is going to make this much, much easier. And so let's grab another lead over here. I shouldn't have done that. I don't need that. Let's do it this way. I've done all this, so I'm trying to debate how much do I want to do. So this is ground, and I'm going to want 1 and 3 to go to ground. So ground is definitely going in, so that's good. But neither of these 2 pins are. And it doesn't really matter which of the data pins I ground out. It seems to be that most people ground out 3, so that is going to be what I do. So let's go find 3. I think it's this white one here. Yeah, so that white one there is 3. So that's all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this wire, unsolder it from there, and I'm going to solder it back to this panel back here. Might try to go through that hole just to make it a little bit easier. I don't have a ton of room in this housing, but let's see what we do. So, clean off my soldering tip. And to clean it, you know, I'm actually just using one of these brass things. You can see this one is really worn. I used to do so much soldering that it was crazy. But, you know, I don't do too much anymore. Well, I mean, we've discussed I haven't done any until this project. Come on, there we go. Okay. Let's just see. Up here, come on. There we go. Okay. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it down into that hole. So, what have they done on the other one? Oh, they've just kind of tucked it in and crimped it. That's easy, I suppose. Let me see if I wrap it around out there. Will this still... It's going to ground, so I don't mind too much, you know, if it hits the casing. Yeah, I mean, it does close, but it doesn't close as easily as I would like. So that's... I think we're going to try not to do that. What else can I do? Just bring it down. And maybe I can just bring it down there and just solder it in. Just like right along that side. And I can tuck it back up out of the way, kind of like that. Maybe just get it right there. So let's get some solder down on there. It's not the prettiest thing I've ever done in my life, but hey, nothing in this channel is, because, yeah, I got pretty bad. Oh, that is the hot air gun going into cooldown mode. Okay, fine. That's cool. Okay, let's just get that shield on. Just a little bit warm. And seal that up. It's pretty easier if I grab this, I think. Cross-threaded slightly. Yeah, cross-threaded ever so slightly. There we go. Okay, cool. So, Make sure we go in the right one here. We go into the microphone one. And we are going to... I don't have like a cord organization set up yet, and I really wish I did. So this right here should be ground. So that grounded. And somewhere is my other probe. There we go. Okay, cool. Got the probe. So I'm expecting 1 and 3 to have continuity ground, but not 2. Okay, so that's good. So here we go over here. 1, 3, but 2 does. Okay. I think, assuming that I've read all this correctly, this now means we should have the working XLR capabilities, and I'm going to go try to plug it in and see what happens. Okay, well, you can probably guess by the fact that I've got an oscilloscope plugged into the microphone that that didn't work. And honestly, this microphone probably hasn't been used in 15 years. And one thing that, here's my pointer things, I did notice there's some corrosion right here on these screw holes, so I don't see any around the battery. I mean, it looks pretty good in there. There wasn't a battery in them when I found them, but I don't know if this works. So let's switch it on. We're at 5 volts per division. I'm not seeing much. Testing, testing, testing. Test, test, test. Maybe I should just try to single shot this, actually. You probably see exactly where my my trigger point is, but I don't. Let's wind it up to 150. Single shot. Okay, so that's not going to trigger. Let's tap. Well, I don't know if that's piezoelectric or me. So test 1, 2, 3. Test, 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 test. Well, nothing's getting high enough to trigger. Let's drop that down to 100. Test, test, test. Huh. Let's get channel 2 turned off. Here's the thing. I don't honestly know what this is supposed to look like. So test. Test. Does that look like an audio waveform? I mean, that's not what I would have expected. So I'm going to turn it off and just try that. Well, I mean, nothing's coming through when it's off. I might be whistling at 3 or 4 hertz. I don't know. I feel like that's something. Okay, well, something's coming through. Maybe it's just not amplified enough. Maybe we should just go ahead and take this apart. Let's do that. I don't know what it's supposed to look like, so I don't know if it's right or wrong. So, yeah, I'm just going to start disassembling it. You probably want to see what's inside it anyway. Heck, I want to see what's inside it. Okay, so those screws are just for that switch. So I'm just going to see if... There's one there. There's one there. the screws corroded, or are they just... Yeah, I think I'm feeling the... it's not... Oh. Huh. Okay. That's... there's not much in there. Okay, let's take out this screw, or this switch here, I mean, and see what's up here. Maybe this whole thing, I don't know, I have any idea how I'm going to get this back together, which, you know, maybe I should have thought of that, but I didn't, so. No, that's not coming out very easily. I see a circuit board in there. Yeah, I don't feel like it comes out that way. Don't really want to tug on these wires too hard. I don't know how good that solder is. I'm also wondering if maybe you push and twist, because that screw hole goes down a little bit, so maybe you can twist that over. Is that a thing? I don't feel like that's a thing. I don't see any corrosion over here, though. No, and I'm getting a better look in here right now, and it's... I don't know how well you can see that. That looks pretty clean inside there. I mean, this is clearly separate from this, so I wonder if maybe this module gets assembled. Or is it? I don't know. That may not be. I can't imagine the switch itself is put in afterwards. Just going to try to get a hold of that board in there. Okay, well, that doesn't seem to be a thing that I can do. So I don't know why. Go ahead and put these screws back in. That's going to be interesting. How do I put them back in? Oh, there's some sort of plastic shield as well. That's going to go there. Try to lift up on the circuit board from inside to see if I can get a grip on it. Yeah, not so far. I guess wedge it up that way. Okay, there we go. So I got the tweezers in sideways, and it's kind of wedging it up. Let's push that plastic in. This screw. It's not perfectly lined up, but it's about as lined up as I can get it. Yeah, I think that worked. Okay. I have another screw. Even if I don't have it working, I would like to have it back together. Just, I mean, I've had this a very long time. It's got sentimental value and so forth. Okay, well, that's back together. That switch is working. Huh. It's got some hooks on it. I don't know why, but it doesn't seem to have any major reason. Okay, well, that's back together, but still not working. Guess I'm going to hit up the interwebs and see if I can find anything out. Let's get this all back together first. I've always had a thing. I love the machining on tubes that just go together like this. That's, I don't know, just super satisfying. Just nice and straight. So that's that. Yeah, I'll let you know if I manage to get it working. Okay, we are back, and I have persevered. So, I mean, this is the setup basically that I'm using. Got Filmic Remote down here. Basically read some articles, seem pretty cool. It seems to be doing the thing. My wife is sending me messages where she's confused about what I'm saying, but that's not unusual. And yeah, she'll continue doing that, so that's cool. So we're going to come in here and we are going to open up Filmic Pro, and we're going to go into audio. This is just the easiest way I found to show that. So you can see everything is plugged in. You also might be able to see that I've got a resistor here. Maybe you're wondering, why do I have a resistor there? And I can page through here, and there is no headset. But when I connect that resistor, boom, we have a headset microphone. Why is that? Well, apparently, like many other Apple sensing things, they expect to sense some sort of pull down between ground and audio, and must send out some sort of pulse to check that when it starts. So I've got a set of Apple actual headset earpods here. I've checked it and it looks entirely open circuit to me, but they may have some sort of circuitry in there and whatnot. But it does do the thing. So if you let's see if you can see the audio level there. If I tap on that. Hello, hello, hello. Testing, testing, testing. I don't know if you can see that I'm talking into this, but I'm talking into this. And when I point it completely away from me, oh, I got Siri to activate. When I point it completely away from me, there's no audio because it's a shotgun mic. And it manages to get the bulk of that out of there. So yeah, that's a thing. It's taken me literally the entire day. I started this morning. The sun was off somewhere behind me, and the bench was like glowing white, and we're here now. And yeah, it it finally works, and yeah, I'm super happy. So I've got a stand. I'm going to put it on. I'm going to solder this resistor in. Actually, let's go ahead and solder this resistor in right now. Maybe that's a good way to go. I'm going to have to get the soldering iron plugged in. I've only run one power cable over here so far, so don't need that. Yeah, let's get this out of the way. It's on. Okay, soldering iron is coming up to temperature. And I've got the resistor over here. I can't manage to get the alligator clips. They're just slipping. These are really, really cheap eBay alligator clips, but they do it most of the time. So, thought about where's the best place to solder. I've commoned up 3 and ground. So if I just solder between those two, which I think will be really super easy, that'll work. So we're just going to do that. Just like so. I have checked and it is going to fit. So let's get the soldering iron tip cleaned out a little bit. Just flow some solder on it and clean it. And then we're just going to flow some solder right into there like so. not get enough solder on that side. Let's do that again. Awesome. That is in there. Turn that off. Put this back together. I have no idea where the other piece is. Must have left it in there, so I'll have to reassemble that off camera. Gonna get back to theoretically, there we go. Filmic Pro. Let's pull up audio again. And this should just work, because it should just detect it as a microphone, just because that resistor is there. And look at that. There we go. We have done the thing. 8 hours. Not quite 8 hours. 7 hours later, I have managed it, and I'm so happy. It's ridiculously happy for me when something like this works. But that's kind of the fun when you're getting back into it. You know, when you haven't done this for, you know, a year, 2 years, 5 years, however long, you know, it's been. I mean, the last time I soldered something audio was probably 2.5 years ago, and it was when I was trying to do some tube amplifiers for some friends. And yes, we will be bringing out some tube amplifiers. I'm going to finish those projects that I never did. I live hours away from my friends who I was going to do this for now, but we're going to do that. But this is the start, and I am so happy, and I keep saying but, and I don't know why, you know, but here we go. There it is. We got the 20-year-old Asden, we've got the XLR cable, we have the iPhone, and awesome. Thank you so much for watching. I don't actually know how to stop this.